أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي كان موجودا قبل حدوث الأشياء ويبقى بعد فناء الأشياء تفرد بالأولية والقدم ومسما كل شيء ما أداه بالفناء والأدم كما قال عز شانه كل شيء هالك إلا وجهه وكل نفس ذائقة الموت وقال كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام سبحان من لا يخفى عليه اختلاف النيات ولا يعزب عنه معاصي العباد في الخلوات سبحان الله الذي منه خلقه العباد وإليه المعاد فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يرى ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يرى نشهد أن لا إله إلا هو الملك الذي لا ينازع في ملكه ولا يضاد في حكمه يعذب من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء ويرحم من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء تعذيبه المسيء عدل وعفوه تفضل ونشهد أن محمدا سيد المرسلين وخير المبشرين والمنذرين صلى الله عليه وآله الهداة المهديين من ركب سفينتهم نجا واهتدى ومن تخلف عنها ذل فغرق وهوى أوصيكم عباد الله بالاعتصام بالتقوى فإنه حبل متين وعروة الوثقى قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المجيد وفرقان الحميد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فاسألوا أهل الذكر إن كنتم لا تعلمون آمنا بالله وصدق الله العلي العظيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has twice mentioned in the Quran. So ask the followers of the reminder if you do not know. Ask those who know if you do not know. Our discussions have been on the fundamental doctrine of Tawheed, and we have had many discussions in this, and our current discussion is in the shirk of the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ita'at of Allah, and in which one of the principles and the principal items is that we obey Allah and all those whom He has ordered us to obey, and not to obey those He has ordered not to be obeyed. That includes our desires, and to make our desires our God. Last week we discussed the principle of continuity of guidance, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ever since He declared Inni Ja'ilun fil ardi Khalifa, when He created Adam alayhi salam, the guidance and the system of guidance has always continued and shall continue until the day of Qiyamah. Allah does not leave this earth without a hujjah. He never has and will never until the day of Qiyamah. And whilst the system changed from prophets to Aimma alayhimus salam, and after the 11th Imam, during the time of the Imam of our time, Imam Al-Hujjah Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, and because of the difference and because of the system that Allah in His wisdom placed that He be in Ghaybat, occultation, we are supposed to follow, or rather take guidance from the learned scholars. And in order to get to this transition, we discussed last time that there was a period which is called Ghaybate Sughra, which is actually a transition from following the infallible to those who are not going to be infallible. That is, until then there was a infallible, ma'asum imam amongst the people. During the time of the imamat of the imam of our time, the shift is to the non-ma'asum ulama, who are muttaqi, of course. And last time we began the discussion that was there between our 11th Imam, Imam Hassan al-Askari, salawatullahi wa salamu alayk, and one of his chosen companions by the name of Ahmad ibn Ishaq, in which there is one part that we said we will discuss again inshallah this time. And that is when Imam introduced the Imam of our time, his successor. The Imam taught Ahmad ibn Ishaq an extremely important principle that applies to us today also during this period of Ghaybat. Imam said, "O Ahmad, in this community, his example," that is the Imam of our time's example, "is like that of Khidhr and Dhulqarnain. By Allah, he will have an occultation, and none shall be safe from destruction, but one whom Allah has kept steadfast in the belief of his Imam, and given the divine opportunity, that is tawfiq, to pray for his reappearance." Ahmad at this time, out of utmost joy for the honor that he was given by the Imam of his time, the 11th Imam, being introduced to the next Imam, whom only very, very few, chosen few were given, he left the presence of the Imam in joy, but soon came back to get a clarification of what the Imam had said. Now, when we say soon, I don't know whether he came back the same day or came the next day or in a couple of days. I have no idea about that. But he came back to the Imam to ask this question and said, "Yabna Rasulillah, I was very much pleased with the favor you bestowed upon me on that day. Thus, what is the continuing practice of Khidhr and Dhulqarnain that you have mentioned in what you said?" And Imam answered only 2 words, and he says, "Prolonged occultation. Ghaybatan tawila." It is Ghaybat that is going to be very long. So Ahmad says, "Yabna Rasulillah, would the Ghaybah of the promised Imam be also prolonged?" And now Imam answers him what he meant by what he said about Khidhr and Dhulqarnain. Imam says, "Yes, by my Lord. So much so that even those who had accepted him as the Imam would turn away from their belief. And none shall remain except, that is, none shall remain secured, except one from whom Allah has taken the covenant of our guardianship, that is our wilaya, the Ahlul-bayt's wilaya. And in whose hearts is rooted our love." It is rooted in our love, that is the Ahlul-bayt's love, and those who support it with their hearts. "O Ahmad," Imam says, "this is the command of Allah and one of the divine secrets and one of the unseen matters of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So remember," Imam tells Ahmad, "what I am telling you, and keep it confidential, and be of the thankful ones, so that you may reside in the position of Illiyin with us." So let us look at this hadith and the total hadith that we spoke about, part of it last time also, and there is an analysis that we need to draw from this of what we need to learn from this event. And this event has some very important aspects that we have to understand and comprehend. First, that Allah in His infinite grace from the very beginning of the creation of Adam alayhi salam established a hujjah upon earth, that is His proof upon the earth. And the system never stopped, nor will it ever be terminated until the day of Qiyamah. Imam has specifically mentioned this, and we discussed part of it last time. Thus Allah sent His prophets in order to establish His proof. He sent His prophets and their successors towards mankind, and so that they may convey His message, and thus that conveying of message completes His proof upon people. The very fact that Rasulullah came and the Aimma alayhimus salam came and established and gave us the message is establishing Allah's proof that we have received His message. Now the choice is ours, whether we accept and follow that message or abandon it or trivialize it or whatever we may do with it, we will be questioned for it. And it is only logical to understand that he establishes his proof and thus establishes his argument upon the people. When he calls us on the day of Qiyamah, for example, and tells me, "Oh, my banda, oh, my servant, did you not receive my message? Did you not see the Quran? Did you not hear about the Ahlul-bayt? Did you not hear about the Seerah and the Sunnah of Rasulullah?" What will I answer? Will I be able to say, "No, I did not receive it"? Yes, I have received it, and the argument of Allah is complete upon me. How I act upon the Quran and the teachings of Rasulullah and the Ahlul-bayt is my choice, and I am responsible for it. Mankind, therefore, can either awaken themselves towards the Lord or destroy themselves in going even farther away from his proofs and arguments. And therefore, this is a very important aspect whereby these proofs and arguments establish in our favor or against us based entirely upon the choices we make in our lives. This is an important aspect. We cannot say, "Oh, Allah did not give me tawfiq." No, we have not gone towards that tawfiq. We all know very clearly that Allah says, "You take one step towards me, I will take 10 towards you." So to get that tawfiq, I have to make the first step. I have to be willing to make that first step. And that is what Imam is emphasizing here in the analysis that we see. Imam also explained that the presence of the Hujjah is something that attracts the uncountable bounties and innumerable blessings of Allah. Like Imam says, rain comes because of the Hujjah that is present on the earth. And at the same time, his presence is one of that repels calamities from this earth. Should a Hujjah of Allah not be present on the earth, there would be so many calamities that we would not be able to bear. And when the Imam of our time, when he reappears by the will of Allah, and here let me make a short note, that anyone who tells us that this is the time that he is going to come in 2026 or 2126 is a liar. Because it is only Allah and his will by which he will reappear and open the veil that he is behind. And Imam says that when he reappears by the will of Allah, he will establish values of the highest standards in accordance to the ideals set by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, taught by Rasulullah, and established by all of Rasulullah's successors. What this means is that there are ideals and there are commandments that Allah has already sent to us as his proof and his hujjah and his argument upon us. And these are the values that the Imam will stand for and re-establish, which have been watered down with time. He will re-establish this, and now it is up to me whether I will be in the camp of the Imam, or because of other reasons I will have deviated and go away and, or if God forbid, even fight the Imam of the time. Imam of our time, when he reappears, he will eradicate all forms of oppression and corruption in society and establish social as well as political justice in the world. Today we see there is so much of dhulm that is going on. We don't know whether this is the end or there is going to be even worse times to come ahead. Allahu ya'lam. We pray for safety and security for all. At the same time, when the Imam comes, he will establish justice, social justice and political justice as well, So the point is, what am I doing to attain to be in the camp of the Imam? Sallallahu Muhammad wa alihi Muhammad. When we look at the part of when Imam mentions about Khidhr and Dhulqarnain, we see, and many a times this question comes repeatedly, sometimes even from within our people who are believers of the Imam, who expect the Imam to come, and they ask, how could the Imam have lived for so long? And the answer is in this hadith when Imam says it is the example of Khidhr and Dhulqarnain. Imam as of this year is 1182 years of age. Born in 255 Hijrah. This year is 1437. In another 15 years or so, or 18 years or so, it will be his 12th centenary. And there are very many examples previous to Rasulullah of lengthy lives, but Imam has used these two as example, Khidhr and Dhulqarnain. Who were these people? Dhulqarnain was a king and a righteous servant of Allah who ruled after the great floods of Nabi Nuh for a very long time. And his event has been mentioned in Surah Kahf also. And his lifespan is known to have been very long. Whilst Khidhr was one of the commanders of Dhulqarnain. He was a commander of Dhulqarnain, and he is known to have met even Nabi Musa. So if Dhulqarnain was after Nabi Nuh, there was Ibrahim alayhi salam that came after that, and then all the prophets of Banu Israel, and then Nabi Musa came. He has been there, and the event of the meeting of the two rivers is also mentioned in the Quran, where Musa is sent to Khidhr. Khidhr has also been known to be a regular visitor of the Aimma alayhimus salam, such that even the ziyarah that we recite on the 21st day of Ramadan for Amir al-Mu'mineen Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi are the words that Nabi Khidhr has addressed Amir al-Mu'mineen with. Besides the event of Nabi Nuh himself is known to have lived for 2,500 years. The Imam has alluded to this fact that look at these long lives, and if Allah can grant it to some of His chosen servants, why does it surprise anyone that He has granted our Imam that long life also? However, during this occultation, it is a test for us. It is something that is so prolonged, but it has its consequences in the sense that Allah will test the faith of the believers. Every believer who proclaims will have to prove himself whether he is one of the real followers of the Ahlul-bayt and the Imam of the time, or is it just a lip service? By the very same token, Imam also predicts that many will lose their faith due to many reasons. In trying times, there will be some who will rise and proclaim themselves as the Imam, as the Mahdi. And there have been many events there in history also. Whilst others will lose faith altogether because of the long period of time. Yet some will doubt the authenticity of Allah's system and will. Why would Allah do that? How can it happen? Some will be destroyed because of their ignorance, and some will fall short because of their affinity to this world and its pleasures. Imam has emphasized that only those who have the wilayah strongly in their hearts, the wilayah of the Ahlul-bayt alayhimus salam, are the only ones who will be able to weather this storm during the Ghaybah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the wasila of the Imam of our time, that He grant us tawfiq to remain steadfast in our Imam and be able to recognize the Imam of our time. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Qul huwallahu ahad Allahu samad. لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحليم الكريم غافر الذنب وقابل التوب وهو الغفور الرحيم سبحان من سبقت رحمته غضبا وبسط اليدين بالرحمة سبحان من لم يكلف نفسا إلا دون وسعها وأفى عن السيئات ولم يجاز بها سبحان من لا يزداد ولا معاصي لعباد الله كرما وجودا وعلى كثرة الذنوب الله عفوا وصفحا نشهد أن لا إله إلا هو العطوف على العباد بجودي والأواد على المذنبين بحلمي ونشهد أن محمدا نبيه وحبيبا سيد المرسلين وشفيع المذنبين بعثه رحمة للعالمين صلى الله عليه وآله الداعين إلى سبيل الله بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة قادة الأمم وأولياء النعم ومعدن الرحمة. Mu'minin, last week we saw the certain aspects of the negative perception of Islam today. And one of the most important aspects is what is our responsibility during these times, which are very trying times for all Muslims. And one of the things that we said, that whether we like it or not, having brought faith and having accepted Islam, we are the face of Islam. And we are the ambassadors of Islam, whether we put that label on our lapel or not. We are the face of Islam and we are the ambassadors of Islam, and therefore we have a responsibility and duty during these times. And last week we also mentioned that there are 2 points that we must not forget, and we should not shy away from our responsibility of having dialogue with others. But 2 points must be mentioned and must be consciously accepted, that during these times, especially when we are accused of terrorism as a matter of our doctrine, then there are 2 aspects that we must mention all the time and every time. Firstly is that we Muslims are the biggest victims of this terrorism that is going on in the world. To the extent that we discussed some statistics, and I wish not to get into that again, but there is one particular analysis says that the non-Muslim population that has been affected by this terrorism is only 2.6%. 97% of the effect of this terror is upon the Muslims themselves. And secondly, the so-called Islamic groups who claim to be representing Islam are those which flourish in those countries whose governments are all allies and friends of the Western government. Among the do's and don'ts, we must always have facts and not go into conspiracy theories, even if they be right. So what is it that we need to do? We should not shy away. It is a responsibility on our shoulders. And we should not make it to look that it is something that we will enhance our own image for. No, this is not self-image or self-elevation of one's status and rank amongst people. It is a responsibility for each one of us, and we must fulfill it in the best of our abilities. What do I need to do? We ask the Aimma alayhimus salam. And there are 2 specific ahadith. Due to time, we may not be able to finish the second one, but the first one, and these are both from our 6th Imam, Imam Ja'far ibn Muhammad As-Sadiq salawatullahi wa salamu alayh, which give us an insight and this is very specific of how we should behave during all times, specifically during such times. And these are both ahadith that the ulamas have confirmed as authentic. The first hadith is narrated by Ibn Abi Ya'fur, who is very well known and respected companion of the sixth Imam. He says that Imam says, Kunu du'ati linnasi bighayri al-sinatikum liyuraw minkum. The word du'at in this is the plural of da'i, that is one who calls others towards a cause. Thus, a da'i is a muballigh, is someone who calls others towards the true faith. How do we normally do such calling? We print posters, we print leaflets, we do many other things and spend our time and passion in it. However, we forget one very important baseline aspect of all these callings, both at individual as well as collective levels. And that is pertinent factor in da'wah and tabligh. Imam says, and we have discussed this hadith a couple of times before also, Kunu du'ati linnasi bighayri al-sinatikum liyuraw minkum. Call towards the truth, Imam says, without using your tongues, that is words, so that they may see this truth in your actions. That they may see the truth of what you are calling to in your actions. What this means is we have to teach Islam without words. We have to teach Islam by being a Muslim that is required to be by the standards of the Ahlul-bayt alayhimus salam. And Imam does not end the hadith here. It is a very lengthy hadith. The second one is even lengthier, which we will do inshallah next time. It says the first thing that we need to establish is al-wara. What this means is that the person who is calling others towards the truth of Islam has to be one who is very cautious and takes a lot of precaution, avoiding any gray areas. Anything that he thinks is doubtful morally or legally, he walks away from it and refrains from it. The second aspect is al-ijtihad. This means that the person is very hard working. He fulfills his duties in the right way. The third is as-salat. And according to certain other versions, it says that Imam says al-sidq, truthfulness. One who prays, and another version, one who is very truthful. The fourth is al-khair, one who has only goodness that he gives out from himself, in form of being helpful to others, in form of charity, in form of any ways that he can be a good human being to everyone else that is around him. This is the da'wah. Not the words, not the posters, not the leaflets. Yes, those are important, but provided those who are doing it are showing that Islam of Ja'far As-Sadiq salawatullahi wa salamu alayk in their actions and in their way of life. And the second hadith is from Abu Usama. This we will discuss in the next time. But the most important aspect here is, many times we ask, is this haram? And then when you are told, yes, it is haram, you say, is this really haram? Is there a difference? It is either haram or not. Imam is telling us to practice al-wara. Even when we have any gray areas, we should refrain. Many times we see that we are propagating the scarf to the public. The scarf is our symbol. But when we see our own actions, when we are even proclaiming that, and defending the hijab is that we, our boys and girls, our men and women are mixing together. Despite very strict references to refrain from such things, except absolutely necessary. This is not a session for hijab, inshallah some other time, but this is something that we have to do. We have to practice Islam before we preach Islam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the tawfiq to be real ambassadors of Islam, the way our Aimma alayhimus salam have taught. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. اللهم صل على سيد المرسلين وشفيع المذنبين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وعلى إمام المسلمين وقائد الغر المحجلين أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب وعلى سيدة نساء العالمين وبذة خاتم النبيين سيدتنا فاطمة بنت رسول الله وعلى الحسن المجتبى والحسين الشهيد بكربلاء وعلي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي عليهم الصلاة والسلام. اللهم صل على مولانا صاحب الزمان ما هي آثار البدع والطغيان هادي بابن الشرك والنفاق حاسدي فروع البغي والشكاك صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آباء الكرام ما اتصلت الليالي والأيام. اللهم عجل فرجه وسهل مخرجه وخل ناذرنا بنظرة منا إليه واجعلنا من المستشهدين بين يديه وتفضل على أمرائنا المؤمنين بمزيد التوفيقات وازدياد الأقبال وعلو الدرجات. اللهم افعل بنا ما أنت أحلو ولا تفعل بنا ما نحن أحلو بجاه محمد وآله المعصومين صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر.